Hello everyone, welcome to my Techguns tutorial. Today we'll be covering intermediate guns and weapons. First I need to go into the machinery required to make these items. So steel is very important to make. So in order to make steel, you're going to need to have an induction smelter, iron, plus pulverized charcoal, or coal. To make pulverized coal, you need a pulverizer, which is a common item in thermal expansion. And steel is used for pretty much everything in the Techguns mod. So in order to make the intermediate weapons and armor, you're going to need the metal press, the ammo press, and the chemical laboratory. To make the ammo press, you need iron, electric engine, iron plates. And this is how you make iron plates. Use a compactor with iron to make the iron plates. Compactor is made like so. So the metal press is used to make a lot of different items in this game. The items you're going to need is obsidian steel, which is used with obsidian and steel. So check this out, we have obsidian steel. There's also a lot of different things you can make, like this, but we'll go into that later. To power it, you need any powering source. My favorite is the steam dynamo because it's very easy to make and it's very solid. Transmission coil, copper gears, which are really easy to make. All you need to do is put water in there and put coal, and you have it powered. So next up we have the ammo press. So the ammo press is used to make ammo. You can switch here between which ammos to make. All ammo costs the same amount of resources. So you can put iron here, copper in the second one, or tin in the second one. But in the first one you could put steel or lead. Has a pretty cool animation too. Check this out, making some rifle rounds. We can switch to sniper rounds, and it'll make sniper rounds for you. Okay, let's turn it off. It also needs power to work as well. Alright, so let's get into the chemical laboratory. So the chemical laboratory, you need to make a lot of intermediate weapons and late game weapons. This is going to be a very important machine for you. So, you're going to need to have fluids in this. To put fluids in this, you should use a fluid transposer. So check this out. Let me put some water in there. Okay, in order to put the fluid from the fluid transposer into the chemical laboratory, you're going to need to turn this yellow and tell it to go to this one, because this has a directional thing. So this would be upwards, this would be to the right, this would be to the back, and this would be right below. So I told the water to go into the chemical laboratory, and now I can start some processes. So you can make gunpowder simply with redstone and pulverized coal. You can make raw rubber, which is useful for plastic. I'll get into that later. You can make some other stuff that's important later as well. Okay, now let's get into the guns and armor and how to make them. So let's get into gun number 1, the AKM. The AKM is an assault rifle gun. It's very powerful for the early game. You make it with the wooden stock, like this, iron receiver, like this, and a hardened barrel, with, of course, power. You're also going to need the magazine, which is made with steel nuggets and mechanical parts. Not too hard to make. So let's take this out and see how it works. So let's look at its stats. It has 9 to 5 damage, according to range. So at 60 range you're going to deal 5 damage, at 20 range you're going to deal 9, and it varies from between ranges, as you can see. The velocity, that really doesn't have to do with much, it's just kind of how fast it goes. It's not too important. The spread is not that much, and it's a 30 round mag. Okay, so let's see how the AKM performs. Alright, so now let's test it out against some bad guys. As you can see, it shoots very fast, and it deals a ton of damage. So let's see how many shots it takes to kill. 1, 2, 3, takes 3 shots, as you would expect, because it has 9 damage up close. So let's test it out from further away. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that makes sense, because that's 5 damage from far away. But you can see that its spread isn't super precise, but is pretty precise. So the AKM is a pretty good starter weapon, and it can certainly wreak good havoc. So now let's test out the AKM in survival mode. It has a lot of shots before it runs out of ammo. Let's look at the reload. Pretty good reload. Next up, we have the bolt action rifle. Bolt action rifle is made pretty similarly to the AKM. Wooden gun stock, as I mentioned, iron receiver, iron plate, we know how to make that, glass, and hardened barrel, as I already mentioned, in the metal press. So let's test it out. Oh, I forgot to get some ammo for this. I'll be right back. Alright, I have ammo. Let me set time set day. Okay, so this the bolt action rifle. It has a scope. Let's look at its stats real quick. 16 damage to 10 damage, really long range, good velocity, only 6 in the ammo, and it has just overall pretty good stats for a starter weapon. Alright, let's get into the bolt action rifle's firing. We spawn some bad guys. Okay, here's plenty. So it fires pretty slow, like a bolt action rifle. After every shot, you can also hear the sound. Let's look at the reload. So it takes 2 shots to kill. So let's look at this guy. 1, 2. 1, 2. Oops. 2. There we go. A little glitch will happen is you have to reload twice. I don't know why this happens. It's probably just because it's laggy. But anyway. It's a pretty solid gun. Now let's use it scoped in. Even though it bounces up and down, your accuracy is still going to be the same, wherever the white crosshair is. And boom. Okay, let's get into the rocket launcher now. Use the hardened barrel rockets, which are made with iron ingots, TNT, and gunpowder. 2 iron barrels and a steel receiver, which is made with hardened mechanical parts, which is made with obsidian steel, you know how to make that, and nether quartz and a metal press. So let's check this out. So the rocket launcher deals damage to terrain, which means it can destroy blocks. So right now I have safe mode off. I covered safe mode in my first video. So let's see it fire. See that crater? That's a huge crater. Well, relatively big. Let me get some ammo real quick. Okay. But beware, this can blow you up. So it's different from the other weapons because it has area damage. Let me turn on safe mode so that I don't blow up my zombie cave. So let's see. Check this out. All of these guys, 3, 2, 1, and boom. 1 explosion and all are dead. That one didn't quite hit. That one hit from at the back. And look, I can even aim like right there and it still blows them up. Rocket launcher is a really powerful gun. Alright, so next up we have the M4. The M4 is made with a steel receiver. Mechanical parts are made like so. Obsidian steel, you know how to make that. Hardened barrel. But what's different is the plastic gun stock. I already covered how to make the raw plastic. You use that to make the gun stock. And let's test it out. So the M4 has pretty solid stats. It's basically a more refined version of the AKM, even though it actually has less damage up front. So it has pretty decent velocity, good range, small spread, and 30 round size. So let's test it out on some bad guys. So as you can see, it's a very effective weapon. If you right click, you zoom in just a little bit, but it doesn't help with aim at all. Let's go in survival mode. Here's the reload. It takes 3 shots to kill a single zombie. 1, 2, 3. 3. 2. 1, 1, 2, 3. It's a very solid weapon. Alright, next up we have the Infiltrator. Infiltrator is basically just a tactical version of the M4. It's used with the M4. You put steel, wool, steel plates, and hardened glass. Hardened glass is a new recipe. To make hardened glass, you can make pulverized lead by putting lead into a pulverizer And you can use obsidian dust or pulverized obsidian by also putting obsidian into a pulverizer. So let's check out the infiltrator. The infiltrator looks really cool. Check me out. It has pretty much the same stats, but it's a little bit different in a few ways. So let's test it out. So the infiltrator, unlike the M4, has a scope. Let's see it against zombies. It also has a really cool silencer on it. It does the same damage as the M4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Okay, well, miscalculated that. Anyway, the infiltrator is very solid. Alright, next up we have the pistol. The pistol is made with pistol magazines, plastic sheets, steel plates, mechanical parts, and a hardened barrel. The pistol magazines are made with iron nuggets, mechanical parts, and iron ingot. Mechanical parts are made like that. Let's test it out. So as I covered in my previous video on the guns, you can dual wield on the 1.12.2 version. So let me get another pistol so I can dual wield with it. Here we go. Let me get some ammo. Okay, I got some ammo. Let's test it out. So it has 8 damage to 5. It has pretty decent range and pretty decent stats. But it says it's one-handed, so let's see. It fires pretty fast. And let's test it out. So it takes 3 hits. 1, 2, 3. And if you're really far away, let's see. 1, 2. So 3 hits the same. So let's dual wield it. So you can press right click to fire the one on the left hand, and left click for the one on the right hand. And you can press shift to deactivate the one on your left hand, so that when you press right click, I'm pressing right click right now, it doesn't shoot like it would like that. So let's press shift. Oh, that's a little glitch. Let's press shift. See, do that. Okay, now let's test it out. Firing at the same time. Let's reload them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look really cool dual wielding them. Alright, let's get into the next gun. Alright guys, this was part 1. Make sure you watch part 2. The only reason I had to make it into 2 parts is because YouTube wouldn't allow me to upload videos that are too long. So, thank y'all for watching.